Peace and greetings and blessings, and welcome to the first day of my live series. This is a three-part live series, and I will be discussing 3 ways to have passion for your purpose without judgment while building your self-esteem. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. Hello to one and all. To the live viewers and replay viewers, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join me. This is interactive, so if you are feeling what I'm saying, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, drop them below. I will answer them at the end. If you are on the replay, drop your comments too, and I will definitely be on the internet to come back to answer them for you. Now that we have the housekeeping taken care of, who am I? My name is Amaria Tucker, and I am the Millennial Soul Scribe. I am a manifestation strategist and a spiritual life mentor. I help my clients to find clarity and become empowered when digging to find out who they are, why they do what they do, why they feel like they do, and how to become one with self while they create the life that they desire. I also have a podcast on Blog Talk Radio named, of course, Soul Scribe Radio, where I share tips, tricks, and hints to help my audience connect and use the forces of the cosmos to assist them. So let's get started. Tonight is day 1, and it is titled, Choose Your Flavor: How I Discovered My Purpose. I recently did a survey, and one of the main frustrations that came up was, Omaria, how do I discover what my soul wants to do? I am lost. I am not happy, even though on the outside, it looks like I am living the American dream. Something still seems to be missing. And, first, let me tell you, I get it. I was there. And what I'm going to do is just tell you a little story about me, tell you my story. About 5 years ago, I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I was in a state of depression. I was just going through the motions, and I was just not me anymore. Of course, this was not healthy for me. It wasn't healthy for my spouse. It wasn't healthy for my children. It wasn't healthy for all of my family and friends who cared about me. And it was like I was lost. I had lost my zeal for life. I had become so disconnected from everyone and everything. And I have a good job. I was making good money, but deep down inside, in the shadows, when I went to my room at night, I was disappointed, and I was disappointed in myself, and I felt like I was just not enough. It was like I had lost the luster of living. On the flip side, I hid it very well. In public settings, family trips, you name it. Even at some point going to work, no one would know that anything was wrong or that I was feeling that anything was wrong with me. I had low self-esteem at the time. I was always like the strength of my family, the backbone, the foundation. And I will always play in the back of my head how my mom would tell the story of how my stepdad actually told her at one point when I was maybe around 6 or 7. He told her that no matter what happened with all of my siblings, even in the family, that if anybody would needed anything, I was going to be the one that everybody could depend on. And maybe that was my sun shining in Virgo, illuminating that I had this quality and trait about myself where I am that type of person that wants to get things done and do them right. And I believe in helping people and having a structure. However, as humbling as it was, it became a burden. It was a burden for me. Here I am going through my own little hell internally, and I feel like I have to live up to this pedestal that I have been placed on for the last 20 plus years of my life, that no matter what happens to anybody else, they can always count on me. But in my head, I'm thinking, who can I count on? That was a standard of responsibility that I unfortunately wasn't able to handle, even though she didn't tell me the story or she wasn't talking to me, but I would overhear her tell people that, and she was proud of that, and I can't take that away from her. But for me, it was like a burden, because I felt like I had to live up to this responsibility of being able to take care of everyone and be that foundation and be that person that could support them and take care of them in their time of need. As a part of it, I had stopped speaking up for myself. I would hold things in. I wouldn't even share my wins and the good things that were happening to me in life, because I did not want anyone to think that I was bragging. I didn't want them to think that I was like showboating, because I have had a lot of successes and I know that people were proud of me, but that internal thing that was going on with me wouldn't allow me to share what was, if the good, the bad, or the indifferent, it wouldn't allow me to share it with anybody. And I wouldn't share my pain. I didn't want anyone to think that I needed help. As a result of that, not speaking my truth, not being who I am, I became sick, and not just in my head, but in my heart and in my throat area. I was diagnosed with a hyperactive thyroid gland. It's like even my body was saying, homegirl, hold up. You got to tell somebody, you got to stop putting up this front that everything is kosher when it's not. Then to top it all off, I got fired from my job. The one that I had just moved 142 miles to transfer to, with a 3-month-old baby, a daughter that had just turned 5 years old. And I did it in the effort to advance my career and start a new life. I left my family, and it was just me and my children and my husband. I went into this new environment that when I look at it, I wasn't ready for it, because it was a reality check once I got fired. But before it happened, I can remember going to the hospital for an appointment where the surgeon was going to tell me if the water that was growing inside of my throat area was so enlarged that I would need to have surgery. And the day that I was going to do this, before I left work that day, I don't know what it was, but me and my supervisor at the time had gotten into, I didn't care for him because I didn't think he knew what he was doing, basically. But that's neither here nor there. But we had gotten into it, and I was just like so upset, so frustrated with it. And I can remember going on my way to the hospital, thinking about life and what was going on and how I was so unhappy. And I remembered the prayer, the simplest prayer that Iyanla Vanzant said that you can do, and that's the prayer of saying help 3 times. Help me now, and thank you. And let me tell you, I was in that car driving, and I was on my way to the hospital to have the surgeon look at my neck and to go under whatever x-ray thing it was. And tears were streaming down my throat. I was pissed off at the boss, and all I can remember is calling out, help, 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 screaming help 3 times. And I started to call on the force of the divine, God, source, whatever you want to call it. I started to call on that energy, and I started to call on my transitioned grandmother. and to help me get out of this situation, to help me figure out why I have this part of my body that is not at ease anymore, to help me out of this job situation that I definitely didn't want to be anymore, to help me out of not being happy, to help me out of trying to find my purpose and figure out what in the hell am I supposed to be doing with my life right now. The next day, I received a disciplinary action from my supervisor. And of course, I was pissed off some more because I was like, how dare he do this? So of course, my attitude and work ethic and everything went downhill from there. Apparently, I was going to be on this trial basis of a trial basis of whether or not any further actions would be taken against me. So of course I had my attitude. I was just there to get a paycheck at that point. I really didn't care. And about 7 days later, I was walked into the office and I was fired. Of course I was hurt. Of course I cried then, because whether it's good or bad, I am a bucket of water, and I'll tell anybody that. I am just an emotional person, and that's all good. But my value and worth it had come into question then. It was already in the back of my mind into question, but it started to really come into question now, because here I am thinking, now what am I going to do? How am I going to be able to support my children and do the things that I want to do and take care of my financial obligations? However, what I found was, because I asked for help, I eventually realized that was my first step into really finding what my soul wants to do. Me being fired, me asking for help, was the catalyst for change that I was seeking. This was my first step in making the decision to find my purpose. I share all of that to say it all starts with a decision. And I mean a in your gut, firm decision, no matter what it is in your life, whether it's finding your purpose, deciding to lose weight, getting a new job, deciding to start a business or to have a family, whatever it is that you want to do or you're thinking about doing, you have to choose your flavor, nobody else. Either you want it or you don't, but the choice is always yours, and the firm decision is up to you, but you have to make it. And once you make it, like Paulo Coelho says in The Alchemist, the universe has no choice but to help you and guide you on a path to do what it is that you want to do. Yes, I paraphrase that, but that's like my favorite quote in that book, and it's because the choice is yours. It's always been our choice, so don't forget it. You and only you can decide. If any of this has resonated with you, please leave me a comment below, and also share with your network, one of your friends. Share it to your page, and if you do decide to share it, make sure you leave a comment of what point really hit home with you. My name is Amaria Tucker again, and I am the Millennial Soul Scribe. I am a manifestation strategist and a spiritual life mentor. I help my clients find clarity and become more empowered when it comes to creating the life that they desire. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate the hearts of love and the likes. Divine blessings and peace to you. I will be putting the link to subscribe to the series down below in the comments. So make sure you join me on day 2. Peace.